Okay. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you are. Today is another edition of the Logan's Hour, and today is it's another beautiful day out there. It's very hot out there as I'm speaking currently. It's like 6:31 in the United States of America, specifically in Indianapolis. And today we will be having a very good conversation. We will have today with us the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana, Mr. Rufus Tati. He will be our studio guest today, and he promised to have this very interactive conversation today. And we look forward to having you from the community, you from outside the community. We look forward to having questions from everywhere. Whichever question you want to ask, your president. Whatever you want to ask him today, he's open to answer some of those questions. I can rest assure you, we will not shy away from any question. We will ask your question as you post your questions. And we will also ask more important questions. And I will be joined by two of the funniest sons of this community as well. And hopefully I'll be joined by another person from Ohio because when you get president coming, you gotta you gotta add presidential too now. So tonight conversation will be so good. I can rest assure you, and it's gonna be friendly because Rufus Stati, he's a very friendly person, and he's open, so he don't shy away from most of the questions that we asked. I remember the last time when he appeared, he answered most of the questions that were asked, except for those of you who follow us and wanted to ask your question or ask your question, and basically the response he answered your questions with, maybe those response wasn't favorable to you, but I'm asking every one of you out there today, for the Liberian community, the Liberian Association of Indiana, all those sticker questions you have today, you want to ask questions about election, questions about the president if you're running for the third term, because some people they've been of late, they have been jittering asking question. Or the president, the way we see things, it seems like the president will be running for the third term, but whatever it may be, whether the president run for the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10 is also the president. So we will be especially the president shortly, the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana, Mr. Rufus Stati. He will join us shortly. So as the president gets prepared to join us, we want to say to all of those out there who always follow us, Anthony Gifler, the man ready for you, Mr. President. So the first person show up tonight, Mr. Anthony Gifler, and the rest of the folks out there. I know, this have been long overdue. People have been waiting for the president to hear from the president. Mr. President, we want to hear from you. Mr. President, we want to hear from you. So tonight, trust me, when you get president, you want to set up all your team so perfectly, so you want to have any errors and things. So that's why we are doing. When you see all crossing our hand from one point to another point, we're making sure the camera persons, they are working behind the scene, and everything is going perfectly. So thank you so much for joining us again on the Logan's Hour tonight conversation. It's going to be just for an hour and 30 minutes. Hour and 30 minutes. So look forward to having all of the questions. Once you live in Indiana, outside Indiana, South Bend. To my friend living in South Bend who always asks me the question about what is happening in Indiana. Some of you want to know the president. What's the president plans? The other day, I remember I had a conversation with somebody from South Bend who was asking a question. We that live in South Bend, what are the plans for those living in South Bend as well? So the president will be here tonight. It's a perfect opportunity for you to also ask a question to the president. I believe Mr. Rufus Tati will be open to answer your question. I want to say welcome, Mr. Tito Harris. Welcome to my mom, Mary Logan. She just joined the conversation as well. Welcome, Mr. Anthony Gifler. And welcome to all of you who are there following the show currently. We want to say welcome to all of you because tonight's show is going to be real. It's going to be good. And if you're out there, you wanting to be part of the conversation as well, it's not too late. You can also let me know. And we will have the number placed on the screen as well. If you have maybe some people, because some people will have questions. My dear brother, David Grady. Welcome, my dear brother. Thank you so much for joining us again tonight. And some people will love to ask their question privately, because I remember yesterday I had a conversation with somebody who lived around the Castleton Mall area. The person say, "Hey, I want to ask my question privately. I didn't want people following to know I'm asking this question." So the number tonight to ask the question on is going to be 401-359-5072, 401-359-5072. Or you can also call this number at the end of the show when we go into the point where we'll be asking the audience to ask more questions. It will also be open to you to ask more questions because the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana, Mr. Rufus Tati, will be here. Some of you who have been on the chat there and seeing the chat have been going up and down, and some of those sticker questions people want to ask about the election, and people want, trust me, tonight is a perfect opportunity to talk to your president, Mr. Rufus Tati. You all know your president. And tonight, I'm going to be joined as my studio guest here tonight will be the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana. And my co-host tonight is going to be the tough talking Jeremiah Sele. So Jeremiah Sele will be here to ask the president a question. Some of you already know in time past, Jeremiah Sele have been one of the strong critics of regime past in terms of what is not going right, and he proffers a lot of recommendations. How can we move forward? Those people see him to be tough talking sometimes. When he's so passionate about something, he say it with anger and he say it with passion. Some people classify that to be, this guy, he's very combative sometimes, but he's a very nice guy. And tonight he's going to be here. It's a perfect opportunity for him to sit on the panel with his president, Mr. Rufus Tati, to ask all of those basic questions the communities are confronted with. So if you have your questions tonight, you have your concern, whatever thing you have tonight, you can also ask the question. Welcome, Mr. Eugene Doswa. And the president will be, now I can rest assured you, I can see the president in studio right now. Mr. Rufus Tati is pretty sitting in African attire. You know the men are African men, but when I come here right now, the man know you're like brand put here with for you. When I come here, it's like a costume and tie there. So I tell them, man, oh, you our president, they go wear costume and tie. Man, kind of African shit. The man in his African shirt tonight and waiting for any question come from every corner of this community. So those of you living in this community that don't know the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana, his name is Mr. Rufus Tati. He's already in our studio here. He's already in our waiting room. But before we can bring the president on, we're just going to go to some of our basic things we always talk about first before we bring the president on. Because when we bring the president on right away, we're going to get the ball rolling and the conversation will not start. So tonight's conversation is going to be Mr. Rufus Tati. You see how the man looking? The man don't get young. We will ask the man a question here. Why, when you took power, you're not looking young that you? Now 3 years now, see the man. No more gray hair. The man will score. Yo, ask the president to know why he looking so young and handsome. The man more than ever before. So tonight is a perfect opportunity to also ask Mr. Rufus Tati, why are you looking so young? Look at the man's face on the flyer. He look less stressed. Can you imagine where other people, Obama, they were leaving power, all the hair turned gray. Now, Mr. Tati, anyway, we know if you live in power because it's possible Mr. Tati might just break the silence here to tell you that I'm going to be the first president who will contest for the second term. Because I haven't heard that in Indiana before that any president run for 2 consecutive terms. And who knows? Mr. Tati could just say, well, let me just be the bearer of bad news tonight. I will be contesting my second term. So before we can, the other day we were opportune to sit with 2 presidents. President Emeritus and the current president, Mr. Rufus Tati. You see both of them sitting right at Vegas, Sis Vera Place, Mr. Alvin Pena and Mr. Rufus Tati. They were in a very, very, very friendly conversation, and it was so unique. And people who were sitting at the time, they were like, whoa, this is what we want to see. We want to see our former president, our current president sharing ideas. And for those of you that don't know, on June 9th, it's going to be Mr. John Yanti, the family people of Mr. John Yanti, the daughters and sons of Mr. John Yanti. They say they will be appreciating their father, Mr. John Yanti. So they will be having an appreciation dinner. The appreciation dinner will start at 8 p.m. and going to end at 1 o'clock a.m. And it's going to be at 3740 Lafayette Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46222. So for those of you that stay trying to find out what the place is going to be, it's going to be 3740 Lafayette Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46222. Save it on your calendar. Go to your calendar where you see the date. Just press on the date, press and hold. It's going to pop up. Then you just put Mr. John Yanti appreciation dinner. But if for some reason you stay contemplating on why you should come to the birthday dinner, come and see Mr. Jeremiah Sele dancing. That boy can dance. Come and see him dancing. And on June 25th, we will have two major things going on in this town. First of all, we're going to have this healthcare day. The healthcare day is coming up on June 25th. It starts from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So those of you stay waiting and want to know what's happening on June 25th, they're having a healthcare day. The healthcare day is going to be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the healthcare day is not something where we all going to sit that we're in church and be waiting for one person to start a song and everybody starts to sing. They're going to be a little mini workshop. But basically, if you are busy, you can just pop in to check yourself, check your blood pressure, and check other things you think that are wrong with you and you want to know about yourself. Because we had the people here just on Tuesday, they talk more about the healthcare day. So it's a perfect opportunity for you as well to also show up to this healthcare day and know about yourself. We talk about prostate. We talk about so many other things out here, and the conversation was so unique to the point where I really, really, really do appreciate them. And I ask that some of you out there who stay in between contemplating on if you should go or you shouldn't go, let me break the news to you. It will be a perfect opportunity for you to be part of this all important event. Then right after the healthcare ceremony or whatever program they're going to be having, trust me, you can just show up right to the park. The Grand Bassa Association, the Indiana chapter, will be having a membership drive. And this membership drive, they say you should come and celebrate with the Bassa people of Indiana. So the Grand Bassa, all of the Bassa people, they're from 4 counties. They're from the Grand Bassa, they're from Maserado County, they're from Margibi County, and they're from Riverside County. So they're going to have food and drinks on sale as well. You can also pop in and just patronize. So you're going to be at 6150 Gateway Drive, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46254. You're going to be at 6150 Gateway Drive, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46254. So you're going to be on Saturday, June 25th. It starts at 12 o'clock p.m. Trust me, show up and enjoy yourself. The Bassa people, they are very hospitable and they know how to take care of people. Some of you women show up. Some of you guys show up. The Bassa people will be there waiting for you people to come and have some fun. But don't forget to, if you will show up to the Bassa people, also make sure to check with the healthcare people to check your blood pressure and check some other things that are happening to you. So we will be joined by Mr. Jeremiah Saleh shortly, but before Mr. Jeremiah Saleh come in, we're just going to usher the president in because Mr. Bishop Tati has been waiting in our waiting room for some time now. You know, you don't keep president waiting for some time. Yeah, Mr. Saleh, you can come in right now because you are one of the hosts here tonight. Mr. Saleh is one of the hosts here tonight. He will be asking the president some basic questions. Mr. Rufus Tati, no, he's saying to himself, "Raw, it's a perfect opportunity for me, my own begin Jeremiah to sit and have this conversation because he knows Jeremiah Saleh, he's a tough talking." So I want to introduce my co-host first tonight before we can bring in the president. So I want to say welcome, Mrs. Duo. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ase Gofan. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Yuji Doswa, and the rest of the other folks who joining us out there on my private page. You know, some people I cannot see them when you on the podcast because it's a software. So as your comment pop up on my private page, I'm going to see it as well. But when you go on my own software we are broadcasting on and you make a comment, we're going to see it. But if you just click like, we ain't going to see who liking or not. But we'll also see it here on this private page. So we have two of them open at the same time. So Mr. Saleh, if you hear me right now, you can come in. I want us to be seated and all right. Thank you for joining me too, Miss Samar Princess Liwe Hamu Logan. Thank you for joining us as well. So sit back, get some drink, get some cold water. If Mr. Denisha Judge want to join us as well, he can also join with his president. That will also make sense because I know there are some questions that want to be posed to him directly. But if possible, the president will answer the question. But let me say this to you tonight: we're going to be discussing Indiana, UNI. We're going to be discussing issues confronting Indiana, the community, the community, whatever about the community. That's what we're going to be discussing. Any other thing that has to do with private life, personal issue, you ask the question, we ain't going to answer it. You make no comments, we're going to delete them, and we're going to warn you. So, with all due respect, I'm going to introduce the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana, Mr. Rufus Tati. Yeah, President.
Good evening, Phil.
How you doing, President? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm fine. Let me enjoy that name small. I'm almost there, so thank you.
Yeah, but thank you for joining us, President. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Tati. And your people have been waiting to hear from you. Tonight's a perfect opportunity for them to hear from you again, because I know we have limited time from now till November. So
Yeah,
probably they might hear from you two more times or just one more, and they hear your final speech, and there you go. Either you're going to be elected as for your second term, or you're going to be former president. So until then, we'll hear from you tonight if you'll be contesting or not. But until then, we're going to leave it in the air as it is. So we will just turn to you, Mr. Tati, right now. Why we can keep a lot of people in suspense, because I know
mm,
they are following us. They are on. I can see them popping up on my private page here. So we'll just go to you and just ask you to introduce yourself formally to those that are following us on YouTube, because most of the people that follow us on YouTube, you cannot see them on the Facebook page when we're
yeah.
broadcasting as well. So we're just going to say, Mr. Tati, the floor is yours. Just go ahead and introduce yourself. We're going to make it go solo for that.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Indiana. Good evening, to our friends who are watching. You know, whether on YouTube or any other platform. So thank you for joining us. Like Phil have said earlier, I'm the president of the Liberian community here in Indiana. It is it has been a very rewarding time for us to steer the affairs of this community, and I have enjoyed working with this community. I hope we will always have the opportunity to serve. But I say thanks to all of those who have also served with us in various capacity to make sure that our community, have a leadership that will be able to cater to the needs of our people. Thank you very much for welcoming us again today on the Logan Hour, Mr. Logan.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. President. So we will welcome our dear brother, Mr. Jeremiah Saleh. So those of you that don't know Jeremiah Saleh, he's here. He's the tough talking Jeremiah Saleh. Let me make you to see his face. Everybody in the town know Jeremiah Saleh, but those of you out there that don't know Mr. Jeremiah Saleh, this is Mr. Jeremiah Saleh. He's the young. He will become our first scientist in Indiana pretty soon. He will be obtaining his PhD, the one Vendetta Patrick can call permanent hair damage. Jeremiah, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. Welcome to the Logan's Hour, my dear brother. So, Mr. President, you have Mr. Jeremiah Saleh here today. Mr. Jeremiah Saleh is one of our hosts here tonight on this program.
Okay, welcome, Jeremiah. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, okay. So, Mr. Saleh, speak to your people first. Start with the president. Get the ball rolling. Make the president scared. Get him tough ball. Make the president seat to shake.
Yeah, actually, the president's a well-seasoned politician. He been tested so many times, and he showed to have tolerance and stay maintain his composure in office. So he's not screwing to the dynamics and the dynamics dialectics of politics. So we'll just be asking him some questions that people are concerned about. We'll not be too radical the approach, but he has proven over the almost 3 years now that he's a leader, and we have to respect that. It takes a man to balance his family activities along with his working activities and his own personal thing to spare the activities of this community. So I want to say thank you very much, Mr. President. At the same time, we'll be asking some basic questions that have been sent to all by Liberian people, and they themselves will be called into act. And I want to greet and extend my regards to everybody around Indiana, from my family, from my kids, from my wife. And I want to say we are here today, enjoy the intellectual exchange and some of the difficult questions we ask the president. And and it's going to be a fruitful discussion. Thank you very much, Mr. Logan, for the invite.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jeremiah Saleh. So, as you're following all day, you heard from Mr. Jeremiah Saleh. He said tonight you're going to be a very good interactive discussion between the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana and Jeremiah Saleh and Philip Logan. Maybe, hopefully, we'll be joined by Mr. Joshua K. Powell. He's from Ohio. Probably he will join us shortly. So we would just get a ball rolling right now, Mr. President. So we're just going to turn to you and ask you the first question to you tonight. Are you contesting in November? You, Mr. President, want to stay your phone in landscape? Just lay it down it, so at least you can cover the whole. There you go. There you
Oh, okay.
go.
All right. Great, great, great.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that probably we have to, make that pronouncement, probably on another show in a very short period of time. I was elected by the people of Indiana, and I enjoy the confidence of the people of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, there were a group of men and women who helped us to get where we are today. So if a decision in that direction should be made, we will have to hold consultation with them. And then after that, the greater community will get to know where we stand as it relates to whether we will be running or not. But I think, in all fairness, we had a mandate from the Liberian people,
Mm-hmm.
especially our community, and I think we have served. Uh, it is always good, to give opportunity to others, where we have stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we want other people to come and start up from there. I think we have moved this community from one step to another. So, but in a very short period of time, maybe in a month or so, we'll be coming out officially to state our position, whether we're going to run or not. But as far as I'm concerned right now, I'm still the president. Uh, and of course, the elections are coming. I encourage anybody who want to run to, try to start declaring their intentions and what have you. But I'm still the president, and again, I will officially declare what I'm going to run on that in a very shortest period of time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Saleh, you can come in.
Yeah, it make it a little bit difficult for me to ask the president because he's already said he hasn't clearly tell all that if he'll be running or not. Because my question was following after he was not running, then I was going to ask some question to that. But I still have a question, Mr. President. Even though you haven't decided running yet,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with the appointment of the election commission uh, for the upcoming elections?
All right, I know this is a concern that has been raised over and over. And we have a constitutional mandate to appoint an election commission 6 months prior to elections. And I know our elections will be held in November. But Jeremiah, and I know, and everybody else here know that, because of the polarization of our community, um, men and women who supposed to already step out to the plate are being taken aback with the politics of the community. And we all know this is a voluntary job. You come there to serve your community and make sure you do the right thing. But based on, some of the responses we have getting from individuals that we have talked to, it has been kind of a little difficult, to get people on board. And so because of that, we are still dragging. But I said a couple of days ago, I said by Monday, which will be the 20th, we will be announcing an election commission. Election commission names will be published, and then
Mr.
hopefully,
President, you got somebody playing something by you there?
no, not from my end.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, not from my end. So hopefully by next week, your commissioners will be ready. And the constitution, what the constitution also said, because
Let me mute us so we can see. Go ahead. I'll try to
the
mute Jeremiah
association,
myself.
I'm not here.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
association said that the constitution states that the election commissioners should represent, be a representative of the chapters.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we have these are some of the things we have really been struggling with to organize this chapter. I know we had a very good blueprint when we took over. We wanted to go to various communities to make sure we organize the chapter, but because of COVID, we couldn't reach to those communities that we wanted to reach out to. And so what we decided as an administration is, look, uh, we cannot go to South Bend and say South Bend should partake because they are not being organized by us. And so we decided to look among the community, in the community rather, and then look for organizations, broad-based organizations, reputable organizations that represent, a cross section of the community, and ask them to participate. Though that constitutional clause that state that the election commissioner should be a representative of, the chapters. Since we don't have a chapter, we decided to say, okay, fine. So why can't we use, institutions that are in the community that, represent a vast majority of the people? So, for example, Sister Love is an organization that represents women in our community, and have women from all cross section. I would consider them in our vein to be, a chapter, because they represent a vast majority of our women. So we look at the men's group, where you have most of our fathers, our brothers are there, and they are the face of the community, the young men, and all of these organizations go on and on. So we decided to take that approach. And so I can be definite now that, another group of the Christian community, all these churches that where we go to. And the pastors are organized, so they almost represent a cross section of the community. So we wrote those institutions to say, look, since we don't have chapters, and the Constitution requires me to look for people in chapters to represent,
Mm-hmm.
and so I want you to nominate individuals to serve on the commission. And these organizations have been very much forthcoming. As I speak to you right now, I think we have almost 75% compliance. And so the 25%, we hope that by the end of the week, we'll get it. But rest assured, by Monday, the commissioners will be introduced through the chat room. And eventually, we call you know, um, a meeting, a general assembly meeting, where officially they will also be introduced to the community. And we are on course. That 1 month shy of, the 6 months. I know it's a constitutional breach, but we apologize to the community. And we ask, for those of our brothers who want to run and want to make sure that, commission can be set up as early as possible. We
Mm-hmm.
apologize for the delay, and we hope that we'll make up the 1 month in time to come.
Okay, Jeremiah, go ahead if you have a follow up.
Yeah. So, Mr. President, that little bit contradicts what is in the atmosphere. That's
Mhm,
outside. We know you were elected by majority of the
mhm,
population, meaning the people like you.
mhm,
And what is in the air is that the president is unpopular for some of his uh, leading strategy as a leader. Some of his failures in leadership is the reason why nobody want to step up. Because I know people supported you from all blocks,
mhm,
from the youth to the younger people to the older people to even uh, the adolescents. All of the kids were jubilant to see Mr. Tati in office. But unfortunately, you are calling on people for to be election commission. Nobody want to step on the plate. I know you spoke of the rhetorics and how the society is polarized now, but that had been like that, and people were still jubilant and accepted you as president. Why can't they now adhere to your call to say, "Oh, the president want us to be election commissioner, and we should step up to the plate"? So that's a little bit contradict what is in the atmosphere. So can you just clear the air that you are very unpopular after 3 years?
Well, if you say this is, I mean, being unpopular is something that you trying to speak to, I don't think so. I think people who I've spoken to, they don't tell me because Rufus that he is unpopular, this is why they don't want to. Uh, all people have said is, look, I'm afraid, this is a voluntary job. We get there to do the job. And you have people in the community, no matter how much you work, they criticize everything you do. And you ask them to step up, they don't step up. So I don't want to take this job because I don't want nobody coming out to cost me to be, because of a volunteer. You have lived in this community, you know how election commissioners are being attacked, especially in the last elections. You know, in fact, what I did strategically, which of course there was a breach of the constitution also, but it was in my right to do, was that look, after the election, I should have dissolved, the the election commission that we have. But I was always thinking, I said, maybe we may have a by-election, So let me just keep in touch. We called them, we congratulated them, we told them, thank you for the job, well done, you know. Today on that commission, I can't even get one person because they told me, they said, look at the difficulties we went through. Everything that we did, we were criticized for everything we did. And so maybe people did not appreciate what we did. So you know what, this time around, let's see if we can find new people to do it. And so this is where we are. Now, it may be alluded to being unpopular, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't think we are unpopular. I think we still enjoy the confidence of the Liberian people. We still enjoy, the leadership. We are still working. This is one of the government in the past that since we're elected, we have been intact, except for our secretary who resigned, because he for family issue according to him. But other than that, all my officials are still working and they are working very hard. So I don't see where the unpopularity come from, but I think it's just the behavior of the community. And look, what people I may be tough, skinned, but other people may not. Because one, I have said, look, know I know what I'm going to do. And so I have decided to say I will run to serve the community. So anything that comes towards me, whether good or bad, I'm willing to accept it. But if I'm asking you, Jeremiah, you as a private guy, living your little private life, and I said, Jeremiah, please come and help to serve, and then somebody go there to attack you, I don't think you have that taste again to come back to serve. And so I encourage people, especially in these elections that will be coming up, we need to be respectful of people's ideas. Um, Everything will not go my way, everything will not go the other people's way. By the end of the day, what we're looking at is a community. So we need to learn how to respect people. We need to learn how to respect our community so that today, tomorrow, when these elections are over, we will be able to walk to each other and say hi, and congratulate people. Tell people thank you for what they have done because to serve, it's not an easy thing. This is complete voluntary work that we're all doing here for our community. So whatever, people try me to be, whether it's being unpopular or popular, whatever it is, you know, if I'm unpopular, this is our community. This is time. It's time not to step out to make it popular. Well, fine. I will serve on this commission and make sure that, refund that we can make sure that we go by the constitution or do something the right thing. So Mr. Tati, who is unpopular, cannot be re-elected or something like that. So popularity doesn't have anything to do with, election commissioner. People just, tired with the kind of way, the kind of politics our community is taking. And I think I encourage everybody, for us to make sure that, we try our best to do the right thing so that our community can be going in the right direction.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Saleh, you have a follow-up or I should go? All right. So, Mr. All right. So, all right.
You can go.
That's good. So, Mr. President, like the question Mr. Saleh asked you concerning people don't want to get involved with serving their community in whatever capacity. So, looking at now, currently we are looking for people to serve on the commissions to conduct the coming election in November. And you rightly said some people have complied with you, and hopefully by Monday you'll be making some pronouncement as to who are those that are going to serve on the commissions and will conduct the election come November. But my question is this: why do you think people shying away from the responsibilities when we all live here and we all have to make this place ours?
Well, I just said it. The polarization of the community, the way we, interact, the way we talk to, the way we behave towards our leaders. You are in a chat room. We know, when something is done, the way everybody tear it apart and all of that. You have more criticism, than acknowledgement of something people have done. And I think I posted today in a chat room that look, we're looking for volunteers there. It's been over probably 8 hours or so. Nobody has been called and say, okay, fine, I will step up, to the plate. So even if you ask the community in general, it's not easy. We go personal, it's not easy. But I think for those of us who thinking about running or coming back, we need to be very careful how we tread this whole political thing because this is an opportunity right now that the next leadership will be able to probably bring the community together more. But it depends how we're going to run this campaign, how we're going to how we're going to how we're going to campaign, how our colleagues who are supporting us going to run the campaign, and these are things that will either bring us together or separate us more and more.
Okay, Mr. Salim, you're ready.
I remembered prior to Mr. Tatis' sentencing, uh, he said that election had always tear the community apart, and it's difficult to build it prior to him being a president of this community. And with all of the rhetorics, uh, we're still able to get people to say, yeah, yes, we conduct the election. So with his style of leadership and what he has accomplished and learned over the period of time as a
Mhm.
leader, so what are some strategy and mechanism you think in this kind of polarized environment? What are some of the messages you can tell people at the same time encourage people to join the election commission and be part of the community progress, because it is essential that we have an election commission to have an electoral process. And you as president, you are trying, but to what extent, to what degree of extension are you making an effort? Are you being persuasive? Are you being charismatic, or are you just saying since people don't want to do it, we'll just forget? And who are the people are you reaching to? Are you only reaching to people who are in your bosom, who you can easily get access to, or are you reaching to people from other aisles that don't agree with your manifesto?
Well, if you go in the chat room is comprising of everybody. So the chat room is there. We put it in there. We're looking for a volunteer. That's one place that anybody, whether you're in the corner of Rufus Tati or you're in the corner of somebody else, the chat room is for everybody. So when that announcement is in the chat room, I mean anybody, you don't have to be my friend, but you just got to be a member of the community. Like, the guidelines are there. You register a member, you do pay up, willing to work with other people, you can apply. So it doesn't mean that, we're looking for specific people. And this is why I told you, I said, look, the Constitution gave me the mandate to appoint people. And that's in my purview. It is not difficult for me to say I can get 5% to do it. I can, but look, when you're talking about election, especially commissioners should represent, you know, the community. I can't go and say right now because I'm having difficulties. I can go anywhere and just take 5% and say come and run the commission. I mean run the commission. I can't do that. Even though I have the power to do whatever I want to do, but no, I won't do it because look, I know what election means to this community. And so one of the things we decided to do, like I said, we wanted to go to organization that represent the greater, good of the community. These organizations are all knowing organizations. A lot of us, if we are a member, one way or the other, a family member of us is a member, and they represent cross section of us. So if the men's group put up, a commissioner, no doubt that anybody going to say, "Oh no, the person is not, where they coming from." No, they're here. They represent, a cross section. If Sister Love put up a candidate, a commissioner, nobody going to doubt it that Sister Love is not, a community organization. But I could go and say, you know what, let me just take my five and from anywhere. And nobody will going to question that. I mean, at the end of the day, you'll say what you want to say, but hey, that's the power of the president to do it. But look, we decided to say, you know what, since we have elections are always being a problem, let's make sure that we get people involved. Now, um, I am not picking my friends. I am not going to this organization to say, choose this person or choose that person. They have the liberty to choose whoever they want to choose. And I will be able to work with them. We will be able to work with them, and I hope they'll be able to conduct the election in a free and fair manner. So it is not because people don't like Rufus Tati, this is why they don't want to work. No, I got a lot of people on my team that are going to decide to say, you know what, I will take people from my team and just run the elections. But Jeremiah, well, I want to put a fear away, from everybody in the community that look, whether we get people from these organizations or not, elections going to be held and on time, on schedule. So there will be election. There will be an election commissioner. Like I said, by Monday, you'll be hearing from the administration. Commissioners will be appointed, or commissioner names will be announced. So rest assured that there will be an election.
Okay, Mr. President, thank you. There will be an election. So, but I think what I've been observing all the time, I think the reason why we have been having a little difficulties is because some of the people who are qualified to serve on the commissions, they are not in compliance with the organization regulations. Yeah, because if you go to Article 6, Section 1.1, it states clearly here that election commissioner should be appointed 6 months before election day. Section 1.2 says only active members are eligible to serve on the election commission. So we have people who here qualify to serve, but they are not in compliance with the organization dues and whatever the organization says. So now, if the president going to say that election will be held Monday, there will be some pronouncement, then I rest assured that you have done your background check, you have checked the dues and made sure they are in compliance. Or if possible, for the sake of the community, the president can say, I don't have to pay all your money, and you just go sell it to be over.
And so that falls right back in the laps of Jeremiah. Jeremiah is not because we are unpopular that people are not paying their dues. It is not because we are unpopular that people don't want to participate in the election. I mean, in the community affairs. This is our community. I will be gone tomorrow, but the community still remains. So to pay your due again, not about people. Now you have come not to serve, right? Again, like Phil put it rightly. The organization, I'm sure they're going to select people who are due compliance. But besides the whole due thing, the idea that even somebody will step up and say, hey, look, I will do it. Because at the end of the day, they will pay that due. Because you can't come and say, oh, Mr. Logan, before you vote, you got to pay your due. Then the man want a commission not paying that due. So we made it clear. We made it clear to these organizational heads.
Yep,
And
Mr.
say,
President, I have a question.
Yeah, coming. That we made it clear that, look, you have to be a registered member of the organization. You have to be a due payer and a team player. Team player, meaning you have to work with other people. Yeah, go ahead, Jeremiah.
Yeah, Mr. President, something interesting just came to mind. It's not personal. We ask the personal question when the time comes as we progress in the program. But you talk about sending communication to other organizations to send at least an election commission. Um, all of these organizations and sub-organizations have their own constitution and their own mandate that they follow. However, an example could be our MA, where my brother is a previous president of. According to the constitution, maybe it have been changed. I don't know. But from the information I got, they are non-Liberian organization. So if you extend a communication to them, I don't know if you do, for them to send a representative for the elections, would that be out of the scope or out of guidelines or out of policy according to the constitution of AR? I hope you don't, but I'm asking, have you done that?
Well, IYMA is a young man organization. Young man represents cross section of Liberians or non-Liberians in the state of Indiana. Besides that, IYMA have a majority of them. They are also Liberians. They have collaborated with us, irrespective of their constitution. I know we have partnered, done programs together. Besides that, they are Liberians. And as long as they identify with the Liberian community, especially with the administration, and work with us in different capacities to make sure that programs that we engage in, they are supportive of it. I believe that they are a member of our community. Now, it will be left with them in terms of say, hey, look, our constitution says we can't do this, we can't do that. Like the men's group and another group can say our constitution says we should only cater to our people and not the greater good of the community. But as long as you have Liberians serving, whether you how to call it, you on an American organization or an organization, but that organization is within our community and we need help, we'll reach out to that organization. So for IYMA, yes, I did send a letter. The president of IYMA is a Liberian. The ones that I affiliate with, majority of them, they are all Liberians. And as long as they're Liberians, they got voting rights and they live in our community, they also have a voice in the process. And when we say cross-section, they are members of the cross-section. And yes, they were extended invitation to nominate. If they do, I will be happy. If they don't, Well, we were past that. But I know they are all Liberians and they are allegiant. Those Liberians that are in our organization are allegiance is with the community. And so, yes, they were extending an invitation, and I hope they will be able to step up to nominate somebody.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
Well
you,
answered.
Mr. President. You have a follow-up?
No, he answered the question very genuinely.
All right.
So
All right.
I said that. Yeah.
All right, so thank you, Mr. President. You know, the answer I expected from him, that's what I received. Because when Jeremiah said our image, we are all African descent. We are not just Liberians.
Yeah.
So if the president extends invitation to our MA, mean he will be speaking to Liberians that within our MA. Our MA will not send no Nigerian men to go serve on the commission. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that very brilliant answer. So I know we were on the constitution, I mean the constitution, but election commissioners, and the president have exhausted all the questions on the election commissioner. So, Mr. President, let me just come to you. I know probably you might run or you might just wait and let it slide. But my question to you is this: I stands to be corrected. For the little time I have been in this community, I have noticed that all of the previous presidents have all served one term and walk away. And by the constitution that you are to serve 2 terms, if you wish. And none of them I have seen to contest to serve for 2 terms. What do you think is the problem that none of the previous presidents were ever interested in serving 2 terms? Is their job really difficult, or is it unattractive, or because of the people not supporting? That's why when people serve the 1 term, they just walk away. Or what do you think people do not serve the 2 terms?
I will speak from personal experiences because I have served more than 2 terms before. I mean 1 term before. So I was vice president before, and we served more than 1 term. But by that time, the way the community is now, it was not like that back in the days. It was more like family oriented and friendship based and all of that. There was nothing like elections. In fact, matter of fact, the way things were done, they were like by consensus and all of that. But for me, the reason why probably I think 1 term is a good thing to do. When you have a growing community, you have youth, you have women groups, strong women, strong men and strong young men and all of that. 6 years, I mean, that's just so much of a time, especially in the country, it's not just so much of a time. What we intended to have done was, look, come out and just lay the foundation, and other people come and lay the bricks up to the window level, and and all the way up. But I think one of the things that have actually been disturbing past leaders, and because I have been around and I've seen leaders come and go, is that, look, the election is, when you during the election, everybody, rally around, you will see the momentum and people will come on board. But after the inaugural ball, and believe me or not, Philip, I don't know how many elections you have seen in this community. After the inaugural ball, that will be the last time that even the elected officials will be able to actually interact. After the inaugural ball, Philip, it's done. And this mantle will be on the head of one man, which is the president. And when you talk about embezzlement, our money gone and this and that, because there were no check and balance in the past. You have only the president. He goes and signs a check by himself. He does everything, But and the contrast that is quite different from what we are today. Today, I think it's just because with the kind of people we selected to serve and all of that, the kind of people the community think who have done it. But this administration, we stay hold together. Vice President is active. I think she was on your show a couple of days ago. Financial Secretary is active. Everybody, my youth chair is active. Everybody is active. Even the board is active. In the past, by the time we finish with inauguration, in 6 months of your leadership, my brother, everything breaks down. So the president have to do everything. So maybe I think that was a burden on them. And this is why maybe a lot of people wanted to go 1 term or something like that. I don't know. But I think it's the community running the community. Like any administrative job, is hard, because you'll not always get everything done. You will get some done and you can't get some done. And sometimes people just say, you know what, I think I'm overwhelmed. Where I stop, let me ask somebody else, or let somebody come and pick up from there. Maybe that's it. But for us, we still enjoy the confidence of our colleagues that are working with us. And I think, contrary to what Mr. Sele have said, I think I still enjoy, the confidence of the Liberian people. And today, tomorrow, when I declare my intention to run, definitely I'm going to win this election again.
I like your confidence,
Even
Mr.
even Sele, even Sele will vote for me. So
President. Silly, remember the showing it on you, brother. All right, go ahead, Mr. Silly.
I said it that the man is a seasoned politician. He's not strange. And I intervene that the area he expertise in. So,
Yeah.
but but let me say this, Mr. President. I know you emphasize on the polarization of the community is actually true, and sometimes because of the zealotry and the anxiety from with the young people, we sometimes malign our character or emotions and get excited to be over here, and that over a period of time of maturity. You remember when you were younger, some of us you had that same energy, and now that you older, you see things from different dynamics.
yeah.
So that's what the young people do most of the time in every election. If you look at the history around the world, so Africa, Namibia, Nigeria, Liberia,
Hmm.
most of the time the young people are used as stooge in the political arena to propagate messages for the bigger shots. And then when they get to power, they abandon the young people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's localize our ideology to Indiana. What are the advice you can give to the young people coming these coming elections? How should we conduct ourselves and how should we carry ourselves to maintain our integrity and stability of our community without getting overexcited and anxious and try to throw jabs at each other? Because we all learn as time progresses emancipate. So what are the messages you can throw out there to the young people, especially because the older people can make their decision behind the closed scene because they have wisdom. But with the younger people, we are always on the front line. We use our stooge
Mm-hmm.
for people to communicate their messages to us, and then tomorrow we look at it, look like the bad ones. So what are advice based on the experience you can give to us as young people in this community, and how should we conduct ourselves?
Well, thank you. Jeremiah, look, I like the exuberance of the young people. I like the political. Look, we live in a community where, besides work and school, nothing else. Sometimes even the family life is kind of a little shortcut because sometimes you go 12 hours, your family life is being cut by maybe 4 or 5 hours. By the time you come home, sometimes the kids are sleeping. And so sometimes the elections, our anxiety, like you said, it gets high, and so we have to find somewhere where we're going to express ourselves and do things and say things. Look, for me personally, I encourage and I was able to endure most of these things. At the end of the day, look, young people will always be young people. Um, the advice will not only go to you young people, it will also go to the other people. Look, you cannot expect Jeremiah is well read, compared to probably, somebody of the 70s, right? Like our guys who were doing the activism in the 70s, there was no internet, there was no way to research. Uh, how their voices were heard. They have to write pieces of paper, push it on the doors, and people have to hire to do it. But look, the guy can sit in the comfort of his living room right now, and just say something. Over 1,000 person in the meantime would listen to it, you know. But the older generation are not used to this. So the education is not so much about the young people. For me personally, because look, I think this is what the social media is for them, It is not for us. And so Jeremiah would type 100 words probably in a minute. It would take me sometimes almost 10 minutes for me to type down 100 words because look, my fingers cannot even move as fast as the guy. So by the time you say, excuse me, Jeremiah say, excuse you for what? Somebody feel insulted because the man said that and you're not even finished talking, right? Look, I would want to first of all speak to the other folks.
Mm-hmm.
These are the brains of the community. Today, tomorrow, when this community is under attack from anywhere, you know, these are the people we'll be depending on. And I can't tell Jeremiah, say, look, um, don't hide your feelings, don't be activist because, being an activist is not good for our community. No. So where I think the young people and the old people, where the problem is, we need to identify. Let's identify. I mean, let's take, for example, what I've been going to video when it comes to the constitutional thing. The people got to express. And I love that because if we decide to silence our young people, today, tomorrow, when our community comes under attack, it may not be from within, it may be from without. What do you expect? Because when a man goes to you, I'll say, oh, the boy rude, the boy is that. But look, let's try to see where we can find commonality, where the young people and the old people can say, okay, Jeremiah, yeah, I know you can write, but I beg you, man, just don't say such and such, or don't do such and such, for the respect of other things. But I cannot silence the young people in this community. I think they make our chat room a little bit active. Sometimes, yes, it become a little bit disgruntled. Yes, but that's the young people. And these kids are agitators. No matter what happened, it doesn't matter who they, even if you put a part there, they will agitate. That's them. Because the way the scope at which I will look at something, I don't care how you turn it around. Hutty will not look at it that same way. Jeremiah will never look at it that same way. But there should be a common ground and say, look, Jeremiah, yes, I was looking at it from the back, and you're looking at it from the side. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I want you to join me, let's look at it from the back. Then that will be a common ground. So how many of us old people right in our chat room? There are a few. These guys are the one who bring information, they post things there, we go there, we read, and sometimes somebody come me, oh, President, why the channel so quiet? I say, you want that channel to be controversial? All right, fine. You wanted to be controversial, just say something. And somebody will come. And I like Thomas Wula, right? He one of the older folks. He starts something, that topic will go for the rest of the day, and people will continue to tack on it. So, Mr. Sele, look, you guys continue to do what you do in a respectful manner. I don't want that. The personal attack is what for me I don't like. The character thing, and all of that. It's not. But the issue, you got to talk about the issue. People talk about what I did. These things help me, and that what makes you a politician. It helps you. I may likely frown, or my people will come back to attack. By the end of the day, I will sit and say, hey, no, 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 no. I think this guy was right for saying what he said. And this is all what administration is about. If we don't have critical voices in the community will not be run the same way. Nobody to guide us. You can't always have a yes around you. So yes, I will talk to the young people. Sometimes the rector that should calm down a little bit, but the older folks should understand that look, these guys need to do what they need to do. And if you feel disrespected in the process, say it. And we can always call most of them. Sometimes I call them privately. I say, hey, look, this is the thing you say is not right. Go back there and either delete it or say sorry. And sometimes they listen, sometimes they won't listen. So that commonality between young and old when it comes to how we interact and all of that is something that we have to find out common ground and settle on. But I cannot silence the voices of the people. And so people got to talk, people got to interact, people got to express their view, and to the leaders that will come, maybe in the next few months, you got to allow people to say what they want to say. Everything will not be in your favor, but hey, this is how democracy runs. You can't silence the people, even the minority. You can't silence them because if you keep if you keep the man quiet, the day he explode, it will be dangerous for you. So you allow people to say what they want to say and talk what they want to talk. But when our older folks are feeling a little bit disingenuous about what people are saying, we need to always find a common ground and say, okay, gentlemen, the man said, he said, excuse me, the way he said it, you are standing over and he said it, he didn't like it. That's an insult. That's right for all who are culturally oriented. And Jeremiah knows sometimes to even tell your pie, excuse me, you think that's an insult because the way you say excuse me, but in a normal society, excuse me, you don't have so close to you, I want pass or something like that. So that cultural device is what sometimes gives us hard time. But for some of us who are in leadership, we know what it is, and I think criticism is good for us. It helps us and all of that. And sometimes we ask the people who criticize us to help us with the solution. So the advice go to both sides, Jeremiah. We will talk to the young people. You got to, be constructive. Don't be personal. The older folks, sometimes, yeah, our guys will come a little bit high on you, but they don't mean harm. I think they just want to express themselves, but they overwrite sometimes. And when they overwrite, by the time they start with a good idea, when they start going down, their libido level start kicking in, or their estrogen, whatever it is, start kicking in, then they start changing the topic at the end of the day. So, but it's a good thing for democracy for people to criticize them. At the end of the day, we'll find common ground.
All right, Mr. President, just because you spoke on that, so I want to ask a question on that because I like when you said that we cannot silence anybody because of their opinion expressed. is also important, but there should be consequences that come when there's some issue that defame or malign or tarnish somebody else's reputation. The reason
Yeah.
why we have people called administrators because they serve as the police officers on the group chat.
Hmm.
Sometimes suspending even Facebook. Sometimes if you just copyright law, you play somebody's music, it's not yours. Facebook suspend you for a week or month or whatever time durational period they add to you. So
Hmm.
what are the administrators doing when there was law that were posted and clearly it was on the group chat? These are the regulations for the group chat. And since the regulation were posted, we haven't seen the regulation taking effect at all. We haven't
No,
seen
some
anybody been suspended for 2 days. We haven't
no
seen
some are
any.
some are taking effect, Philip. I don't want to call you up, but some are taking effect. Look, there was
Mhm,
a case in point um, that I was actually not in country or I was probably in transit.
mhm.
So I have, as soon as I turned the phone on, the first thing I saw, fella took his brother-in-law and did that. But who is this guy? Samson Rabba or
Yeah, I
something?
saw he was removed.
Oh, you are removed.
Yeah.
And I boarded my flight. By the time I got off the flight, the next thing I saw was if I had been there training before even I could get off, and then it was that person I thought that came from what's his name uh Saleh, what the other Saleh what is Saleh, my Maya brother name.
It's a many, man.
Yeah, but we know what you're
Okay,
talking about.
okay, fine. Well, I want to call his name.
Mhm.
Joe, Dado Joe.
Why I forgetting my beginning tonight? All right,
Dado
fine.
Joe. Dado Joe.
What did I do? So as he had posted something and he had his whole market list of things and he had proof and this and that. But what is interesting about this guy, is um he a guy who always asking for apology. You say something to Saleh, Saleh will say, okay, yeah, you said this, but I demand an apology. I demand an apology. So when I stop or post it, I have getting home and everything, and somebody say, oh, but this man posted something like this. Now, the timing is where I have problem with, but I went there and I commented on it and I said, look, this was on a gossip column that we were running and that this should not happen no more. That served as a warning for him. And I think after that, for the next 24 hours, I was watching and I call all my people. I say, hey, look, sometimes I look at it, by the time I get in the morning, I got 50 messages. I don't read everything, but y'all look at it. If you see anything coming from Joseph Saleh, anything coming from Saleh talking about people, family, and personal, just let me know. Automatically, he was going to be out. Now I know warnings about it, right? So we observe it 24 hours and all of that. Nothing came up. Then some individuals involved, we have private conversations with them,
Mhm.
and I say, hey, look, we don't take whatever is spoken on there, people take responsibility of what they do out there. But look, the reason why probably Saleh wasn't removed, but he was warned, and I did warn him. And look, I'm watching, and you yourself helping to watch. If you see anything on the contrary, just let me know. I will not even warn him. I'm going to remove him because I think this was so personal and I think there were many times the guys came demanding for explanation and apology, and he said he stood by his word. But after a while, that all slide away. So we watch in the chat room, and I can always tell we all are custodian of the chat room, Philip. If you see something, Jeremiah sees something, say something, because I will not be able to see everything, or the administrator will not be able to see something. So what I will not see in the night, in the morning, somebody else will see. I think that was one time the vice president called me like 1 o'clock in the morning. She said, "Oh, you following the child?" I said, "No, I'm sleeping. I 1 o'clock in it." And so people want to do that. I think sometimes they do it late hours because they know the president going to be by 9 o'clock, right? And something like that.
Mhm.
I don't know. Kids are sometimes smart, children smart. So we got guys in the chat room who are smart. They say, "Hey, man, I can go to work 3 o'clock in the morning." So by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, he's already in bed. So let's do our thing. But I have tried my best and I've talked to people personally. I said, "Look, gentlemen, this chat room is for us. This is where we come and exchange idea, and we should be civil with each other." So that issue with Joseph Saleh and the IYMA people was something that he was warned, and I don't think such thing going to be repeated again if it is done. If I don't see it, somebody just give me a call and say, "Hey, this is what Saleh have done." I'm going to go in there, and look, there will be no question. I didn't even want something. Something took my name to the bowl, and he said I removed him. I did not remove Samson because of what he said. I
But
removed something.
who is Samson for
Well,
the
I don't.
information?
Well, I think the board will clarify that. So
Okay, the
Samson
board says
Rawa,
Samson met them.
where Samson did not meet them. So this is what happened. Samson was removed, and Samson took my complaint to the board, and will
Okay,
make this public because the public don't know. So something complained to the board that I removed him illegally because he said something against me or my wife. So
okay,
the board called me to a conference, and I said, no, I didn't remove Samson Rawa because Samson Rawa said something about me. I said, people have said the worst thing about me. But something to say my wife is renting, LAI party thing, which is not true. That's why I'm going to remove him because he can't prove it. He said he know the person, but he one day he didn't call the person in and say the person the one who told me or the person the one my wife received X number of dollar. But when he said my wife already renting and he's talking to only about one person, then I don't know what he's talking about. So Samson Rawa was removed, one, because Samson Rawa was a ghost name.
okay,
So besides that, Samson Rawa, besides $10 he had paid to register, Samson Rawa not paid $5, no due payment at all. So when the board called me, I told the board, I said, look, Samson Rawa was not removed because of what he said about me. I said, go in the chat room. Every day people say things about me. You know, it helped me to be strong or, whatever it is. But Samson Rawa, if Samson Rawa can give you his ID card today, and you verify Samson Rawa ID card that this is Samson Rawa, and you verify that Samson Rawa paid his due, at least some of his due.
mm-hmm.
I said right now in this meeting, I will put Samson Rawa right back in the chat room. Samson Rawa, as far as I'm concerned, is a ghost name, and you can't come in the chat room. And that was one of the things we stressed in the last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Come with your real name. So if Samson Rawa stay there and anybody knows Samson Rawa, today Samson Rawa come with a driver license and show it to me. And if we can verify that Samson Rawa come back in the chat room. But you can't be in the chat room talking about people. Be a man. Don't hide behind anybody or be hide behind, a false face and something like that. And come, these guys around here, when they want to say something, they come out as men and they say what they want to say and they take responsibility of what they want to say, you know. But Samson Rao was just a ghost name. Nobody in the community knows Samson Rao. If anybody knows Samson Rao, please come on the live feed today and tell us who is Samson Rao. So these are some of the things that happen. So yes, we're monitoring the chat room, but the chat room is a responsibility of all of us. All of us. My people just call, say something, and then the administration will come in to back it or to verify it, and then we can go from there. I see one name there right now. They can say love. They posted something the other day. Love. I don't know what love is that. I'm watching that love. The next time I see love, if love cannot verify, love gonna be out because we made it clear that you should please use your legal name in the chat room, and this is where we stand. So the chat room is everybody's responsibility. It's a community look out for whatever is right or wrong in the chat room.
Okay,
All right.
that's fair. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Okay. I know Philip is the host. I'm just a co-host. But Philip, there was a question in the chat room. I'm monitoring. Somebody asked if they can call in. So
Yes, yeah. A lot of people young, other people following. They ask if they can call in. Yes, you have the time to call in when
we
we
should give
already.
them the time to call in because we don't want that. He's the president of the people.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
he's
right.
the president of the people. So we should give the time. Just before we call in, I want to ask the president this question. Um, Mr. President, uh, what are your best moments? What were your worst moments? And what are some of the corruption that took place in your government? It's three questions in one: your best moment, your worst moment, and what are some of the corruption you see that occurred during your government?
Okay, I will start with the latter one, corruption. I don't like to, you know, praise myself, but I would like to praise the community. I think if the community didn't do anything right during this election, one of the things that was done right was the election of our financial secretary, which is Nimba. Physical discipline, that lady, she is. And to be corrupt, except maybe, our people, you say you give them money to go buy, one real machine, and they say, oh, they didn't see the real machine or fire, maybe they pay to that. But in the country, not possible because receipts will be there. And so when we took over, look, the community have been crying when it comes to corruption. People always either their money gone at the end of the day, and nobody can give accurate account. So what I did when we took over, I said, told them, so look, in as much I have, authority, we have three signatory to the account, but the vice president is not. But there is no transaction that's going to go on that the vice president will not be aware of. So internally, what we do for check and balance is if there's a voucher that's supposed to be raised, that voucher will be raised. It comes to me and it goes to the vice president, who is not a signatory but should be aware of every transaction that is going on. And the vice president will directly communicate with the financial secretary and say, hey, this is a voucher that I received, and this is the amount that the people need or we need to do based on what the request is. And then she will come back to me and say, oh, Mr. President, are you aware of what the vice president is telling me? The two of us will meet and concord and say, yes, this is it. So at the end of the day, if anybody leaves this administration, Jeremiah, I just want to put this on the record. At the end of the day, if anybody after this administration come out, especially from the top official, and say, well, the people were corrupt, the president did that, I want you to remember this statement today that there is nothing that is done that is official. So just imagine you had a secretary who is a signatory, the president, and the financial secretary. That three signatory. The next person in line there, who is a senior official, is the vice president. So almost like the four of us were synced into financial matters. So nobody can say the president went there by himself, or he went there with a financial secretary that did something, or he went there with his secretary and they did something. So financially, internally, we have this, check and balance in place.
Mm-hmm.
Corruption, I don't think, I think some of the things we have done probably that maybe I would say maybe the budgeting process is something that maybe the budget usually is not done on time. Again, we don't go to make our own budget. And I think, I want to thank our people in the community. We have always have, again, representation from the men's group. We have always have representation, from RYMA, people who have financial expertise or people who have experience. So Parker, the Emerson duo, the financial secretary who is also, a seasoned financial accountant, they always go ahead, that committee will always be set. I do not participate in there. If they have problem, they'll call me, oh, Mr. President, we saw $500 for this. Can you justify it? If the financial secretary can justify it, or the vice president who is on that committee can justify it, then they call me. I give justification. Sometimes the committee will say, no, Mr. President, we can't do this. We'll do it this way. Instead of 500, I will make it 250. And they are always independent. And so even the budget for the association, they're not us making. It is a community. People who trust in the community help us to make the budget for the community. So corruption, I can't really advise. Maybe there are some area people have seen corruption. I have not seen it, but I have tried to make sure that, one way or the other, the administration will serve with distinction, make sure that where our people have problems when it comes to the way their money is being spent, we try to make sure those loopholes that people can use to maybe, siphon the community money, those loopholes are closed. And I know that my financial secretary, knowing who she is, she's a very tough lady. So our money is safe. The community money is safe. Corruption, I'm not aware of anything. But if somebody knows anything about corruption, don't hesitate. Let me know. And except you're an elected official, if you're one of those that are appointed, you fire. That one, no hesitation about it. Now, our highs and lows. Um, Look, I think we have always been medium because our highs were actually after the elections when things were picking up very, very fast. We're able to bring the ambassador here. We had a very elaborate, inaugural ball. We had a contact with the state. We had a state representative. Matter of fact, he will be our guest speaker for this coming July 26th program, Honorable John Ballard. We started contacting, state house and other things. We started moving so fast. That will happen, in the very first 2-3 months after the election. Then COVID set in. And when COVID set in, my brother, so even in case your wife said I was trouble, I'm talking about going out there. So things just went down, and it has a moral problem. Our morale dropped dramatically. We were not able to coordinate with the community the way we wanted the community. Matter of fact, we had just set up a food pantry thanks to Life Connect. They gave us a whole place. The community was
Yeah, muted, Mr. President.
Hey there, right
Somebody
now.
calling you. Okay,
That's
go
it.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, muted, Mr. President. Check your phone, Mati. You got a call coming in. We can hear you. All right, so you can go on and come back, Mr. President. We cannot hear you. Alrighty, so we are in conversation with the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana, Mr. Rufus Stati. So, Mr. Saleh just asking a brilliant question. He has and he knows some of the challenges he has faced since he took power, and he's going to be back shortly with us. So when he joins us, we will we will go straight to the part of you people want to ask some questions out there. Well, if you have question, you want to just type your question in. We will also read your question to Mr. Tati as well. If you want to call in, the number will be up here. The number you always know, the number always on the scrolling text here. Or you can just also save the number 9 in your phone. It's 401-359-5072. Mr. Tati will be joining us shortly. And when we connect with Mr. Tati, when he answers Mr. Jeremiah Saleh question, we'll be going to you out there to ask your question to Mr. Rufus Tati. So let me see where the president is up to right now. Me just get him out and he will come back in. So you are on the Logan's hour if you're just joining us. So we will just take a 10 seconds break and we will be right back. Alrighty, thank you again for joining us. Mr. Rufus Tati is back with us. So we have the president of the Liberian Association of Indiana, Mr. Rufus Tati. He's here, and he was just answering some questions from Mr. Jeremiah Slay. So right now we will be going in a split second. We'll be going straight to you, our audience out there, to ask all the necessary questions you want to ask concerning the Liberian Association of Indiana. To ask some other questions relating to the community and the unity of the community, and some other thing that you feel that is necessary for the president to address tonight. Because when you those of you that is not part of the group chat, we have been having series of back and forth on the group chat. The president tried to address some of them right now. Issue that has to do with the Constitution, the amendment, the propositions or whatever, the Constitutional Review Board. The president is not clear with the authority to address that because I think he appointed the board and the board appointed their own review committee. So we would just skip that for tonight. So let me just ask you a quick question before we go to the phone line, Mr. President. Since you've been in power almost 3 years now, you're going 2 years and some months. Looking at when you took power and looking at how the community people they were united or disunited comparatively to your turn currently, do you think the community is more united now or a little divided since you took power?
So when I took power, let's assume Jeremiah was 25 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah is 28 years, 3 years. That boy has become mature now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Jeremiah of 25 years ago, 25 years old, 25 years old, Jeremiah had matured. So look, I think our community is, moving in the right trajectory. I think we are progressing. And again, we want to leave it at a pace so that whoever would take over, will just continue. And then maybe by the time we go in 6 years, our community will be more united than ever before. But look, the heating process, the election is something that divides even families and all of that. Look, and I understand what we went through and all of that. This is why sometimes, yeah, all of us are hardcore one way or the other. By the end of the day, we all say, you know what, for the sake of the community, let's move forward. And I think a lot of our colleagues, our brothers and sisters out there have understood it. Our tone have changed a little bit. And I think we're becoming more involved. And you'll be surprised that how many people are going to step out to do work in this community? People who want to be volunteers. Look out for the health fair. see how many people come, to be there. The last time we had a graduation program, surprisingly. So I think our community is gradually getting together, and it requires leadership to do these things. You got to have a leader who is willing to accept, criticism, who is willing to work with even the worst person who don't even want to see him. You have to reach out to people. And I think that's what leadership is about. And I think we have tried to exercise that in the past and we'll continue to exercise it. And whoever, if we have a smooth transition like, it have been done in the past, we will try to, turn over the notes over to the next president and see how best, the community can be united. And we'll be standing by. And then capacity they want us to help, we'll be willing to help. In the past, people, when you take over, the former president, the former official, they didn't even want to use that. They didn't want to work. But this government will be different. I think we'll come in, we'll work. It doesn't matter how the politics play out. We'll come, we'll work. If we don't win the election, if we run again, fine, whatever it is, but we'll be able to work with the next president or the next leadership. So, Jeremiah, if we are doing a graph, so we started here when we were elected, we were at a very high pace. COVID came and then we dropped. When we dropped, we went like in a very straight line. And then, gradually we're picking up now, and I hope that we may not reach the peak at which we were when we took over, but at least that graph will go probably, 85% of what we started out with, and then by then we'll be facing up. But I think we have our highs and lows, whatever it is, whatever political or because of the COVID. But we thank God at least our community have come thus far, you know, um, through our, self-reconciliation process. We have been able to check ourselves, and today at least we can now sit across the same table, um, have dinner together, share a glass together, all of that. I'm proud of this community, and look, no matter what happened in the past, Philip, this community, I still have confidence in this community. I think we have a better community compared to people who are left and say they want to form their own organization like they have done in other places. But look, our guys, when they talk what they wanted to talk, they said what they wanted to say. At the end of the day, they still came back to pay allegiance to their community. And this is all we all working for. Our community is our community. So look, I respect these guys. It doesn't matter what was said in the past, The
Hmm.
election was a half-fought election. So yeah, people were bleeding. And yeah, they have to say what they wanted to say. So maturity is one. So for those of us who will be stepping up to the plate, we have to be mature. And I hope that, when our time comes, we'll be around to talk and to advise the next leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Tati. So if you're following us tonight, if you want to place your call, the number is 401-359-5072. We want to say thanks to our brother Emmanuel Togat from Bon County. He's a Liberian journalist. He's following us from Bon County. Thank you for also using your credit at this time, because I know it's not easy. But if you're from Bon County, this person who we are interviewing tonight is no stranger to you. So just spread a message. If you're on air right now, just broadcast locally. Let people know that this is the Liberian Association President, Mr. Rufo Tati, in conversation with us. So if you're out there tonight, you want to place your call, we have 10 more minutes to end this broadcast, because 8 o'clock we're supposed to end. So the number is 401-359-5072. Or you can just check on the scrolling text. You see the number will come at the end of the text, 401-359-5072. I'll tell you what to my brother Jeremiah Saleh.
Hey, Mr. President, so far, if I had a good president interview today, man, President got more than 8%, man. The
I
guy
got
is doing
I got somebody calling Jeremiah.
okay, okay. And he keep improving every day.
Go ahead, my dear brother. Hold on, just a second. Okay, go ahead.
This is Jan Bulula of the Indiana Liberian community.
Okay.
I am calling for the Industry 7 Day
All the
News.
presidential recording.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
Triumbo.
I want to say thanks to the studio guests, our potential president, President Rupert S. Tati,
Yep.
and the co-host, the young brother, the scientist of our time, Jeremiah S. City, Diker. We say thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Tati, President Tati, my questions go to you. Thank you so much for the deliberation tonight. You have said it all. But my question will go to the area where you said that the Liberian people are shying away because of election rhetoric or what happened during elections. Do you think the Liberian people are shying away during your administration because of your past involvement with the community as well? Because track record have proven that you once ran for president of the community. When you lost that election, you were gone completely from the community, and you came back after a decade when life was in the community already. Do you think the Liberian people look at your past record and say you did it to other people, so we want to do it to you as well? Do you think? Because during the time of COVID served as uniting people everywhere. Our community should be united due to COVID, because life was taken away. Other community was united, during the COVID. Why is it that our community honor your redeem? People shy away. People don't want to get involved with the association, because during Abington, people was involved with the association. Why is it that? Can you explain to us? Is it because of your past record with the community? That's my question.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Jan Folula. So that's Mr. Jan Folula, the former Secretary General on Mr. Rufus Tati administration. Yeah, go ahead.
I think because of time, I know your phone is open. Other people want to call in. Let them call him so the president can have at least 2 or 3 questions to answer at the same time.
Okay. So
I don't know. That's a suggestion.
That's good. So anybody out there you want to place your
call?
But
if nobody call, the president can answer the question. So
yeah, I think what I'm sensing here tonight, I think they are all satisfied with the president deliberation.
Okay, let me come to Nyan's question. First of all, I will let Nyan know that, look, I served 2 times vice president for this community. After we served, another group came, they took over. And look, this is why leadership comes in, when you serve and other people, and when we live in this kind of modern society and then we don't follow the trend of what's happening. You don't see Obama just being Joe Biden everywhere Joe Biden go, or Obama say, I want to be this in your God. No, you have to give people chance to serve when they are elected. If they need you, they call you. And the whole thing about Rufus Tati, when Casa became president and Rufus Tati did not work with Casa, that's not true. It's not true. The night of the election, when Casa won this election, while my people were here celebrating, we left from there, we went to Casa place, we took our celebration from there, we went there. Casa won the election, we went there. Casa appointed me to serve as the liaison between the, I think it should be, they called it was some refugee committee that they had here. And I was liaison, the African Refugee Committee, something like that committee. I was the liaison working with the Casa government on that committee. So, when politics comes, sometimes people try to I did not desert Casa government. Casa was a friend. We had an election. The election was over. Look, I'm one of those who don't take the scar of the election war, but no. But Casa had his own henchmen that were with him. And sometimes the people who are around who advise us, they will say, oh, my man, look, need that man, or go with him, or don't bother with that man. We can do our own thing, right? I didn't shy away from my community. I was in my community. And if you ask Casa or past leadership, there have been no time anybody call me to say, Mr. President, former vice president, or former leader of our community, we need you at a time. Please come and serve. And I said no. So if y'all can pinpoint one time in this community that I was asked to serve, on any government or any administration, and I said no, let me make it clear. But now it is not true, and you are not here. After serving 2 terms, I think we have exhausted our time, and so we needed to stay out of the spotlight until we were called to serve, and we were asked to serve on that committee. We did serve. I reported to council diligently every now and then, When we had issues, we went to him and we discussed it. So I did not design my community. So if somebody is saying because council time and I didn't serve the one today, they didn't want to serve, that's not true. Look, in as much as I have asked people to serve on the election commission, and people who ask individuals did not do it. Look, like I said, election commission will be fun. Elections will be here. But Monday, you're going to get your election commissioners. You will never, the community still have people who believe in us. They still have people who want to work for that community. But again, maybe the trend at which we took to select the commissioners, this was not the right trend we took. And so because of that, this is why maybe we have some of these stumbling blocks. But election commission will be set up. Now you are a member of this, administration, And so if you're talking about uniting the people, you should have been one of those who should have very step up, to do what you can do best. You are youth. You should have reached out to your people, and you say COVID united people. Why is it COVID? Well, you are not able to do that when you're part of the administration. So look, but we don't want to go that route, But I serve. Whenever I'm called to serve, I will serve. Even after this administration, when I have the time, you ask me to serve, I will serve. And I said, look, our community is not going to degenerate again. No. So people, now we're going to start working with our young people who are energetic, and we'll always help them to and pinpoint the mistakes that are in the society or the mistakes that are in the community. If the leaders do not listen to us, we'll go to them and say, look, these are things we have concern about, and we want you to make the case, and we'll support you when you make the case. So we're going to be, we'll be in the community as we are always being, we'll continue to be. I didn't run away from here. If you're talking about a decade, if I was a decade, I was here. I didn't go nowhere. And ask anybody who asked me to serve and I refused to serve, I did not. So I'm here now, and I will continue to
Honorable
remain
Tati.
here, Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tati. Go ahead, Jeremiah. You're trying to say something.
Honorable Tati, for the sake of time, at least try to limit your answers at least to help us ask some of the questions quick before we leave.
Okay, I will just,
I
I'll
have
be
a
doing.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Just be to the point. It doesn't mean you can't answer the question. If it extends it, you can extend it. Just
Yeah.
I mean to be to the point on the easier question. And because there are a lot of questions coming through my phone now, people
Yeah,
don't
you
want to
can.
call, but they sending text message.
Yeah, that's why I told
Yeah,
somebody to.
so so one of the questions I just received was that is it true that you have a political ambition in Liberia first? Question. Is it true
Yeah.
that you have political ambition in Liberia?
Yes. And my political ambition, like I
Hello?
have not yes,
Okay.
I say yes. And I have not compromised my activities here. This is why I don't make it public here. I don't talk about it. I don't advertise anything here until when I've done serving the Liberian people here, then of course I gain full gear for my Liberian political activities.
Okay, so that enhances my next question. Uh, for almost 3 years of leadership in Liberian Association of Indiana, how did you really manage and balance your time with AI activity and your activity in Liberia? Because people are very concerned. Sometimes you travel, you come in, and your wife take distance. According to what we know, she runs the affairs of this community, and it been bothering other people. So how really did you balance your time with AI? Do you really use AI as a stooge for resume, or you were sincere to the Liberian people? Can you just answer that question?
Well, and this is why people always say, "Oh, the person using the Liberian community to be a springboard for their political activities in Liberia." Thank God, at least we have two persons now. There's a panel running in Liberia. I'm running, and if Liberia Association is the one that can elect you in Liberia, then thank God, at least you're going to have two representatives now from Liberia. I mean, from Indiana, who will be in the house. That would be good for you, Jeremiah. The day you arrive at the airport, just call me and say, "Hey, Mr. Daddy, you get me a call." I mean, right? So, yeah, fine. But look, and this is all politics, which I understand.
Mhm.
Before even becoming president for the association, 2017 I ran. I was down Liberian Association president I ran. And so the Liberian Association is not something that can automatically make you to be representing Liberia. Being representing Liberia is hard work. You work with your people. Matter of fact, my people don't know Indiana, period. They don't know nothing about Indiana. So when you go there telling them, I'm president for Indiana, because what the man talking about? What you not do for you talking about president for Indiana? They don't even want to listen to that. So this cannot, helping in any shape or form. What we did here, we did it sincerely. We serve our people. And what I can tell people, God have helped us. We have the opportunity to travel. And look, most of the time we travel to Liberia. I have a family. I have businesses that I run, and I got a income, that comes from Liberia. So those businesses are sometimes things that I have to run out there to look after. The work of the Liberian Association is not an everyday thing. I mean, in a sense that it's not something that you can work from home. Like right now we're talking, we're having interviewing from home, right? I got my lead. I got a very strong dynamic team. My vice president is strong, and so we have a strong board. So most of the I don't go to Liberia for months. People who know I go to Liberia for maybe a week. The longest I stay in Liberia maybe like 10 days, 2 days of travel back and forth, and then the other, you know, um, 8 days or so I spend it there and come right back and resume my normal duties as your community head. If I'm in Liberia, there's anything concerning the community I need to know, the vice president will inform me, you know. But look, the issue, and you raised a very serious issue, which people have always been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
With my wife, look, my wife at any time, you know, I would love any community leader to have a wife like my wife. This lady make things so happy. And because of her commitment to this community, this is why people always think that she runs the show. No, she doesn't run the show. If I had to do something, and Jeremiah, most of the time, by the time you elect them, my man, most of the time your people gone. So now you're looking for, yeah. So now you say, fella, why fella? You can't find fella. If we have to do anything that has to do with ways and means for her and other things, I can't find fella to say, go find a her. I look for my wife. I say, hey, we're looking for her. Can you help us to find a her? You know, I mean, she help a husband in those capacity. My wife does not make any decision on behalf of the administration. The matter of fact, she helped us more than some of the officials, So if I have things to do, if I'm stuck, if there's things that needed to be done and I can't find somebody to do it, she will help me to do it. And I will always, pray that the Liberian community will get a first lady that will be willing to work and serve like my wife. And look, in a public manner, I say, look, that lady is a strong woman, and I would do it again. I will ask her to help again. If I have to do it again, I will do it. But she served her community diligently. And so when people can't, sometimes if my wife were not in support of me, my people,
Hmm.
probably what we have achieved, we're not going to achieve it. Frankly, but she's very supportive. There are a lot of things that I know want to do. My wife will go there and say, okay, fine, you stay to work. I will go there and ask. And I come back, she said, oh, I went to post that such and such. I said, fine. When I call meeting, I will say, yeah, fine, you and I ought to go, Mr. X, Y, Z. But look, my wife went there and this is the result we got from there. So what can we do? So we need community leaders. We need our spouse support when it comes to this kind of thing. And so my wife, I'm proud of her, the work she has done for the community. People will say she's making decisions, she's running decisions. No, she doesn't. When it comes to the children program, she's organized the children program. She works with the youth people. They organize it. When it comes to the Christmas program, she works with them. When it came to honoring the graduates, she works with them. We need first lady that will be able to do these things. And again, after the election, anybody when we was married, I would say, look, bring your wife, let my wife coach her so that at least she'll be able to follow through on some of these things. And some of the reason why people raise the eyebrow, and I truly understand is because we have
Mm-hmm.
not had maybe first ladies in the past who are really being involved by the way my wife is being involved. So people think that, oh, she overshadowing things or overshadowing people. No. But I think that just things that first lady is supposed to do. And she has been involved in a lot of programs, especially when it comes to the children. So I really commend her for that.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we have one mobile Keita following us here. I don't know if there's a question. He said, we as Liberians need to respect and embrace the tenets of democracy. We live in these great developed societies and fail to adopt the goals, the good values. What is our problem? Why is unity a major problem in most of our communities in the diaspora?
Well, and that's a very very good concern, Mr. Morales. And I think that this is the same thing we've been addressing here. Um, Liberians, sometimes you see some nationalities, when they travel abroad, you are more united than when they are home. But Liberians are we don't. We don't care. You know what are you like, bro? Now, your man say he want you, he want you. You can't America again, man. My man, I want you with that man. He want you with you know. But there's something that sometimes unite us as Liberian. You know, when it comes to our flag, we all come under that one flag. You know, for example, our holidays are coming. You know, no matter how people vex with each other, you always come around. But yes, Liberians sometimes we take our personal issues to um, the, either to the associations or the communities we live in. I hear Liberians say, "Me, I got time for Liberian people." You know, a lot of Liberian community, I ain't let of people bother with it. But when something happens to you, who goes to your aid? It's the same Liberian people, you know. And again, maybe our backgrounds, the cultural diversity in Liberia. I mean, 16 tribes, and all of the cultural thing that goes on, civil war and all the kind of thing, names calling, and that there are a whole lot of factors, that make us to sometimes have, division among ourselves. But again, that is not just it. Sometimes you'll see even the tribal groups within the tribal groups. Like I've been on the East Coast a couple of times. The United Sapo Association, they got to break away. The Grand Crew Association, they got. I mean, like you have all the. I mean, so the narrow it now, it's a county thing, right? So we all crew people are supposed to be united, but still you get there again. They say, "Oh, the other crew here from this other side, and the other crew." I mean, why the guy is right? Why is Liberian? Why are we Liberians like that? I don't know. It's maybe because when our parents left, our people left from America and went back home, because now you want to unite the tribal people, and so that division from day one is something that is an inborn thing, and we all grew up with. I don't know, but yeah, it is hard for Liberian, even when it comes to the family. Your mom will be saying one thing, so now your pa saying something else to the child. You know, don't eat a candy. Or I'm like, oh, little boy, why little boy can't eat a candy or something like that. So yeah, but it starts from the home. It starts and then it gets to greater society. But this is something that Liberians, maybe the generation, maybe it will not be during our time, but we need to find common ground and be able to unite. Something got to unite us. And I just think because we don't have one common culture, maybe all of us speaking Twi, like in Ghana they speak Twi, maybe we're speaking Loma as our national language, or maybe Basa or Pele, maybe something there are going to unite us. But it just have for Liberian to come together on something specific. As well for the national holiday. The only thing that I used to bring us together small, maybe the Lone Star. We can't even get a Lone Star to bring us together again. So Liberians need to learn how to work together, and it's a very serious problem for all of us.
All right, but you got one big endorsement from the chairman of Open Table, Mr. Joseph Saleh. He said, Mr. President, you have my support. Let me drink my wine.
Thank you, Mr. Saleh. So support for what? I want to run you or support me?
Yeah, the man support you. The man already posted it here. The man said, "Oh my goodness, the president is strong. Go Liberia. We are going Liberia."
I will talk to my advisor.
The man
Jeremiah, one
said
of
he
my advisors, I
campaigning.
will talk to him. Oh no,
Okay.
Mr. Saleh, a friend to Paul Jogasa, Joseph. Matter of fact, Joseph had worked with me on a lot of projects. I mean, closed door. I mean, behind the scene, he had worked with me on a lot of projects. And right now, we are almost like accomplishing one of our projects. And so he have always told me, say, look, Mr. Daddy, talking about Indiana politics. He said, but when it comes to national politics, I will make sure I will support you. Anything I can do, I will do it. So he and I have been working on some little projects behind the scene. And so, but Joe, I will call you before I leave on Sunday because I went bury my mother-in-law. So, but we'll talk.
I got another caller here. So go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. President. My name is Samar Hamoud Logan. I was calling to ask, I asked your youth chair that I don't know the last time if you tuned in on the show, your youth chair Fatima was on the show, and I asked her a question, and she said she wasn't in the capacity to speak on behalf of LAI. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you, and hopefully I can get a better answer. My question that I asked: with elections coming up, what standards are you guys? Well, my question was to her, was to the youth. Now I'm just speaking in general. What standards are you guys going to hold this community to? Are you guys going to try and at least come out with guidelines to try to regulate this process a little bit, where when people jump up, they don't just jump up and disrespect people whenever they feel like it. I understand the I understand the election process. I understand you can't quiet nobody's voice, but that does not excuse disrespect going on. So, what are you guys planning to put in place to regulate this a little bit? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Logan. So
Okay.
thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Logan. Look, we are this election is going to be a different election, and we want to use all of the tools in our arsenals, like the LU boys can say, to make sure that we have, you know, free and fair election in this community. We have elections that will be void of, personal attacks, elections that will be void of controversy, and all of that. And so this administration will work with the will be, contestant in making sure that we all talk to our supporter and see how best we can be safer in these elections that will be coming. So when you talk about guidelines, the election commission, like I said, by Monday we'll be announcing them. If we announce them by Monday, hopefully over the weekend, also we'll try to have our first meeting and let's see, what are some of the things we discuss. Because look, like I said, these are people that live right in the community and people that are in various organizations. So they got ears of the people that are in these organizations. They know what people are saying, and we all know what we can do to quiet some of these things. You have people from the men's group who will be probably, supporting a candidate, or you have people from somewhere else who will be supporting a candidate. And so if they have a nominee from these institutions that will be serving the election commission, if we say something and say, look, you know what, we don't want the election to be such and such, that person always go to that bureau, they go to their meetings, their organization meetings, they'll be able to tell that people, say, look, you put me over there to work in the interest of the community. But look, this is what we are saying on the election commission. We don't want this, we don't want that. And so we have been very calculated. We were calculated in making the decision that we made. People would think it's a weakness, but it is not a weakness. We were calculated when we said, look, let's take our people from the cross section of the community. And this is the reason why we did what we did. So I'm hopeful that our elections, will not be as, controversial as the last one was.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. So, Mr. Saleh, let's go to you if you have any question. If not, then we can take
Yeah,
a 5 seconds and come back. Go ahead.
yeah, I have a question for the president. Mr. President, what are your plans after office? I mean, you say you don't know if you're running or not, you're going to consult the Liberian people, but in case you are not going to run, by assumption, what are your plans after office? Are you going to just forget about the community? Are you going to be making farms and be generating rest for Liberian people to eat in Indiana or Liberia? Are you going to be focused on your political strategy in Liberia? And Amy, we're going to focus on your political strategy in Liberia. Which political party are you going to be affiliating with?
All right. Look, my plan for after the after life, if I can say, after the association is, look, I'm going to be involved with Indiana. Look, Jeremiah, we have made a lot of sacrifice for this community to where it is right now. And I know that we're not using people living rooms now to have meetings. We're not using people churches now to have meetings. We have our own place. We can go there and have our meetings. We have a little get together. Maybe the next Super Bowl, if we all decide the next administration, we can go there. Watch our Super Bowl right there. So after we elevated this community to where it is right now, we can't sit by now to let it break down. So we have to work with the people that will be coming in to replace us. We have to work with them, make sure that we give them the support they need. Again, like I said, they have to ask us to do it. So if they ask us to come in, we're coming. Because sometimes when the former leaders are involved, you're trying to overshadow, the new leaders. So we will be working with them in the back, making sure that, whatever assistance they need, they will be able to do it. Now, when it comes to my political thinking, like, again, I don't like to mix my politics with Indiana, but again, you ask me, I have to say it because it's a known fact now that I'm going to contest 2023. And yeah, so I have always the last election I ran as an independent candidate. And because Jeremiah, sometimes, the political parties in the country, the manifesto sometimes they have and the way they act sometimes it's if you want to go in the house to bring change, sometimes it hard to really work. I mean, because you see them in the house already. What they have on paper is quite different from what they're doing there, and
Mm-hmm.
so you want to go there with that independent voice. And sometimes why people decide to join parties, you join party one, maybe the main thing is, well, the party will support you, and give you money, or maybe the party is popular or something like that. But if you are already popular with your people and you have finance or you can raise money, because when time we start doing our fundraiser, all of you will support us, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
can raise my little $1, $2. I don't see the need why I will go to a political party today, tomorrow when I'm in the house, and then they say, "Oh, you got to do it because of the party," all of that. And so, look, we want to get in our house to bring some level of change, and some of the changes we want to make there, Jeremiah, is simple. Look, you can't have a country. Look at the educational system. In the 80s, when I was in school, junior high, high school in the 80s, in the whole of Bond County, Jeremiah, let's say Bond County, Banga alone, Banga had only 3 government schools in Banga. So you had Massaquoi, then every Massaquoi, then you had both junior and senior high, 3 government schools in the whole county. The rest were private school. How many of our parents are working to afford to send us to private school? So everything when it comes to education, the private sector have taken over. And so um, what happened to the government? Education, the support to education is less. When it comes to healthcare delivery, people prefer going to, these small quad doctors or even to go to the hospital. The reason is because there's no medication, you know. Then you look at people going to school. Jeremiah, you have kids in this country. And some of us went to school in Liberia, for you, find your power, somebody, a physician assistant, yeah, he make money. You are not rich, but at least you are able to feed you. But Jeremiah, when you travel through the length and breadth of my district, you have kids who are 3 years old, 4 years old. They leave their homes in the morning going to school, Jeremiah. They don't no breakfast. They don't eat. They don't drink even water from the house. They go to school and you expect the kids to stay in class for 8 hours, hungry. What are they going to learn?
Yeah, it's
How much is it going to cost government either to introduce agriculture programs in these junior high schools or high schools around the country, government schools around the country, and say, look, let's involve in some agriculture programs so that when the kids come to school in the morning, they will be able to have something to eat. That alone will encourage the child in the morning to want to go to school. Many days I'm walking in the district and the child crying in the morning. What happened? I don't want to go to school today because the child is hungry and they're going to school. They're going to stay there for 8 hours and nothing there to eat. They even got father. This time you can't even find father color. Color now like $20, $10, $20. You know, and so our government need to start looking at primary education right now. Primary education is very vital. If the children foundation is not built, you know, you still going to have a country of more than probably about 300,000 or more Zocos all around the country. They are scattered there. What's
yeah.
going to be the future of our country? It's going to be tough. And so we are looking at a whole different uh, house when we get there. Because if you get there and they say you were this political party, you have to go with the party mandate. But I want to speak as a free man. Now, I'm not against political parties. I'm not saying I may not join a political party. I may join a political party, but that political party should also be able to listen to my ideology, and it must be able to listen to what I want to do when elected. And if we all come to that term, of course, we're affiliated with political parties. But I think our country is needing people who have independent voices in the House, who will speak truth to power, who will be able to seek the interests of our people.
Thank you, Mr. President. At least you have just clearly tell us some of the things you're going to do when you get into the House of Parliament. And we wish you all of the best. We don't know. The Liberian people are going to decide who becomes the next representative of Bon County because I know Bon County is very big. They got Pikafa, Monicole, all the other places. Then, so yeah. So we wish you the best. But I can rest assure you, if during campaign process, some of us from here, like what Joseph said, when we have the time and we have some of our schedule, we adjust our schedule. Will be in Bon County campaigning as well. not just only for you, but even if Alvin Penner or Morris or whoever person that live in this town and go into Liberia, when they are successful, pass the candidate nomination, and they have been certificated officially, and they will be on the ballot when we come to Liberia, we will campaign for our people. We want one of the lawmakers in the country to come from this town here too. Yeah, we want Indiana make a lawmaker too. So I can rest
Thank
assure
you.
you, if we visit Liberia, we're going to visit Bon County. We will speak the Pele in all the different areas, and Jeremiah can speak on La Pele, but the poor understand it anyway. See.
I know, right?
Anyway, he's speaking. So Jeremiah, you got anything for the president leave? Because it's already 8:26. We said we're going to end it in by 8:30 sharp. So before the president give a party, if you have a last question, you can go ahead. If not, then the president can go ahead with his
Yeah,
party.
I'll ask a last question. But to be really president, really a surprise me. My more for the interview that I've been putting my more for the man answer the question like a real seasoned politician ready to go Liberia and win the representative position. Just happy that
I think
and
you're
so
me now.
no, the measure growth. We can see maximum growth and development within the 3 years of.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, like the questions are so amazing to the extent that you can be critical of some things, but you can see that the questions are well answered,
Wow.
and stuff like
Somebody
that.
said there's no $10 cola anymore in Liberia. Cola is $20 and up.
I mean, the bigger cola say you want bigger cola like 20, 25 bucks for
Well,
that thing, $50.
But Mr. President, before you depart, and myself I'll soon be departing too, I have a question for you. What is your final message to Liberian people in Ghana in general? What is your message to the people? And what is your advice to those that decide to contest for presidency in Ghana at this time, succeeding you? Because some of the things that you didn't do, that you were not able to touch, what are your advice to them to focus on? Because people making platforms, but maybe the platform will not be strategic to why you didn't accomplish, and you think that you like people really with that in India really need, but you were not able to absorb it due to COVID and other things that happened during that time. So what can you tell the Liberian people in general, and what are the advice you can give to those that decide to run for president?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's a very good question and a parting, question. Look, first of all, there were things that we promised to do, we didn't do, and I will encourage the next government to do so. One, we wanted to actually extend the arm of the association all over the state. So South Bend being a very strategic area, Fort Wayne and other places where we have Liberians, I will encourage them that those chapters be created. I will also want to encourage them to do a census for Liberians that lives here. In that census, we'll be looking at our the educated people, high school graduates, and all of that. What kind of degrees we hold in this town, because this is something that is a record that we need to keep. Right now, some of us getting in politics. When we get there, who knows? Today, tomorrow, I want to call and I say, "Hey, Jeremiah, you the president of the Liberian Association?" I say, "Yeah." I say, "Can you tell me, how many, um, educators you have in there?" I got two, I got three. Okay, we got a position here, but this is why I want to be paid. Ask them if they want to come, fine, they can come. We can give them, we need an accountant. Looking at our community, do we have a content that look, these are data that we need to have, and I think as a community, we have these data that will help us. For the people who will be running, look, politics is not to be enemies. Our supporters are the ones who create all of this fuel around this whole political discourse. So I want us to, talk to our people. Even though the man talking good thing about you, but trying to denigrate other people, you have to call them and say, hey, look, you need to stop. Let's work together. Because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, you win, you'll still have to work with these people. So we need to continue to talk to each other. And I want the political leaders, those who will be involved, and I will be around. We'll continue to interact. We'll continue to engage. If we see things going the wrong way, we'll call them and say, hey, look, you need to talk to your supporters. You need to talk to this person, And some people say, oh, that man, and I'm a supporter. He say what he want to say. But we know when the man supporting you, we know. So but I want us to be civil in these elections. Our community have come a long way, after the last election. We're getting together closer now. Let's see if we can continue to, hold it together so that the next people, bring it more closer and closer so that at the end of the day, we have a perfect community where you and I can meet anywhere and say hello to each other. We can send our children to visit your children, we sending your child for a summer camp. You can't say you worry because that man or your opponent in the election, you can't talk. So you're not sending your child for the summer camp. We having Christmas party, you're not coming there because you and the man can't talk. So I just hope that, the only place we have is Indiana. This is our community. We got to make it livable for each other. So I think we have come a long way and we can do better. So to those of us who will be running, we'll continue to talk to each other and engage each other, making sure that, the unity that has started already, we should continue it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you so much. So we're going to meet again, hopefully
Yeah.
soon.
When we finish announcing the election commissioner will come back.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
There you have it, Mr. Saleh. The president, like you said, the man has improved all the time.
Yeah, just a post-interview analysis.
Yeah.
To be real, when I saw this guy speaking from 3 years ago, I don't care. Maybe he was nervous about the position he was trying to take. But 3 years ago, when I saw him articulating the issues to now, man, if you have to put him on the skill, man, I think he's ready for Liberian politics. I mean, let's be real, he's ready for Liberian politics. His question, man, there are some questions when people answer is you are debatable.
Yeah.
As to what he actually trying to say. Is he really clear on his message? Like every question I ask, bro, we talk about this and I wrote these questions down.
Yeah.
This question came from other people and then I synchronized them and think that this question was relevant to ask him.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to be choked.
And he just
he
just fluent with the answers because I was a little confused because the first time I had the president here and people following with just asking questions back to back, calling in. But today, they seem to be more relaxed, satisfied with his answers, and no calls coming. I like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he would think, like he said, we flatter him, but let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. He did a very good job.
Yeah.
He did excellent on this question, how he answered this question. And man, if you have somebody as your leader, this is the way you want for them to talk.
Yeah.
This is the way you want for them to articulate issues where you can remember, it means that when I sit in, listen, I'm not trying to be a little bit biased here.
Yeah.
But why it tells me that the day I have a privilege to sit with Mr. Buford Tati in a garage, I have to have a listening ear.
You are right. You are right. You are right. Because follow his answers, he was more relaxed. And some of the answers that I thought that were going to take him off his seat, he maintained his composure and he just kept flowing. The issue that has to do with the group chat, I thought he was going to go off track and he just maintained it. And he balanced it from all sides. And I'm like,
when I asked the question about the young people, he says not the only young people. And something he said that was amazing is that he said, look, even the other people have to know that. And that's one of the things most of the other people in this Indiana don't know, that generation stretch is emancipated, extrapolated.
Yeah.
So how I respond to stuff based on my ideology and the things I see every day in the workplace and the friends I'm allied with or correspond with, it's totally different from what the other folks are doing in the 80s and in the 70s. So look, give us some time. We're on the speed. Don't slow us down.
It's true.
You're taking 10 minutes to respond. I'm taking 1 minute to respond.
Yeah, and I heard he say that too.
Yeah. So he's saying that, look, young people be patient with these. I mean, old people be patient with these young people because if we have an attack from outside, now within area, these are the first defense. Now let me get to something.
Yeah.
In immunology, we have cells that can attack when disease enter your body. T cells, B cells, T helper cells. They are all macrophages, neutrophils, electrophils, all these cells. So they have their own ways. First defense when disease enter your body. Exactly the president is saying, you need the young people to stand up because they will attack when an attack comes from outside for area. We are trained for that. We are anxious. So this guy is brilliant To be
Yeah.
real,
Yes,
he's brilliant.
honestly.
He's smart. Yeah.
Politically, he's been preparing himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
because some of the questions he answers, some of them like a politician, and some of them he was sincere when it comes to the group chat, when it comes to how we young and old have to work together in this community. And when he said the older folks have to be a little patient with the younger folks because somebody could just tap something and while you try to respond, the person finish saying passes. And it reminds me of the interview I had with Tiawan, the Councilor Tiawan Gongulu, when I asked him about, sir, can you just do this, and come on screen? He said, you have to listen that I'm a BBC. I said, why? He said, because I was born before computer.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I I'm glad that you thought of me to be part of as your co-host today for the area president.
Yeah.
For almost a couple of years, I've been very vocal on this regime. I've been on the president back. We have had our tough times, our difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
But to be real, Mr. Tati had proven himself to be a leader. He does not let his emotions overshadow him. And not just Mr. Tati, all of the two leaders will be produced back to back in Indy.
Yeah.
That's running. And that's why the next election we should be proud of who we electing.
Oh,
Because imagine Mr. Pena is running for representative and Mr. Tati. So it means Indianapolis is doing something big. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a record.
So
we have to be careful of the people we put ahead of our leadership here because they represent us on a larger scale globally. And
that's true.
That is a boost for we like in our elections could be rhetorical,
Mm-hmm.
it could be downgrading, it could be very, very robust and sometimes on our neck, but it tells us that our leaders are developing themselves. Because when these elections bring a lot of technicality from your background, everything, we're not at that personal level, but from your background and what you have done in this community, it means that we set you on that pedestal where you have to perform when you're in leadership. And Mr. Tati just prove it in this interview. That's the best interview I've ever listened to from Mr. Tati.
Yeah.
I remember he appeared on your show. I even called the show. I said he was, I was criticizing him.
Yeah, you and Hottie Pamo.
Yeah. But this interview is one of the best interviews I have ever listened to from him. And I take every word into consideration. For one fact, I don't want to be too general.
Mm-hmm.
This interview is actually recorded on my other platform, my software I have on my computer.
Okay.
Every word he spoke is written there. I transition it so that I can go back to listen to his answers. And to be real, he really, really, really naked in the book.
Yeah.
In the book. He got it.
Trust me. And you know when Mr. Tati and I had a conversation, he said, "Hey, Logan, I want to speak to the people of the community. I want the people to ask me any question because I have just a few more time to be their president." So I said, "Okay." So when I accepted to bring him on the Logan's Hour, the first person my mind went to, I said, "I need to find a critical person who will gain hard time." So I said, "Good, Jeremiah Saleh." Yeah, that's how
this one he won.
Yeah. So when I contacted you, he said, "Oh, my dear brother, I will wait between my schedule and see." Then later on, he said, "Oh, great, I will be available." I said, "There you go, Rufus. Can me get so hot." Now when Rufus started being so relaxed, I'm like, "No, the interview go another way."
Yeah, he got it, man.
It was a real good one. I wish him success. I wish the people of Bond County listen to his message because the people in Liberia they vote very differently.
Yeah.
I can rest assured, like I said, I will be in Liberia 2023. I will be there to campaign for Rufus or Arvin or Morris, whoever person reached the point that they be certificated by the National Election Commission. I will be there to help campaign as well. Because I can rest assured you, of the three people, Indiana got to put out one person in the House of Parliament.
Oh yeah.
I'm serious about that.
Oh yeah.
I want to put everything behind me. We're going to go there, campaign from village to village, homes to homes. It doesn't matter. We will roll our boots, get in the mud, and let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so my brother, thank you.
Yeah, so my dear brother Jerry, just give your parting.
Yeah. I want to say thank you very much, man. You're the big man. You called me here. Yeah, you the big man. You called me here. I humbly come to co-host you, and I thank you for the opportunity first for you to think about me on this, this president's messages.
Yeah.
One of his best interview, at least I mean, it's spotlight a little bit, because that one is his best interview.
Yeah.
And I want to say thank you very much. And to the Liberian pool, this is just in Indiana, this is just uh honey to tell us that our electoral process and our critique, people in the chat critiquing, people are mad. People say stuff, people are mad. This tells you that there's a process that you have. We are building a process that you have to go through so that when you represent Indiana, you can be a direct representative of us. We thought that Arvin Peno has said that, he has proven that, even though there is no metrics we can use,
Yeah.
Arvin Peno has proven to be a very calm leader. We thought that he had just proven that today to us, that he answered all of our questions and he knows where he's headed for the future.
Yeah.
And so we should not overlook our electoral process here in India. We should not. And we should vet our candidates. It's important to vet our candidates. We should be critical of them because they represent us tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you also to Honorable Tati and the First Lady. I'm very critical of her because of her staying in the committee, but the president alluded that in his message that she has been like a backbone to him. So all of those answers were relevant to what we wanted to hear. Some people will still be very analytical of the process. But I want to say thank you to Mr. Wilfred Tati for giving the opportunity, because he's a studio guest. He could have said, I don't want Jeremiah sitting in studio.
Yeah.
But
you know, surprisingly, I never announced you till few seconds.
Yeah.
I kept hiding your name because I never want to hate somebody say, no, I didn't want to say with Jeremiah. So I say, okay, the
president of my man. Actually, I didn't say you small. As I sent you a picture where he and I interacted when I was little boy. I just moved to Indiana where I was sitting in his garage and put a finger around me. I still get that picture. Okay. But sometimes we can be too technical. You think they hate you, but like both Arvin Peno and Mr. Tati, they get my 100% support in Liberia. I'm anticipating during the 2023 election. We can say everything to help in the campaign financially, whatever it is. We contribute on both sides. I am more of an Arvin guy, and because me and Arvin have that kind of tie. But we first started over the years, I show well leadership character of the state. I think Liberian people decision to vote for him. I can always say it's the best decision because I'm from the other side. But I can also say that he proving to the people that the reason they put him there, he grew and developed, and he's the best man for Liberia and for Bon County to be represented. So I want to say thank you, my brother. I don't want to hold you for long. My daughter is waiting for me. So
all right, thank you.
And we'll talk off the phone. Thank you to all the people. Hello to all of you. Let's spend your weekend very good. We'll see this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my dear brother Jeremiah Saleh. So that was the voice of the great tough talking Jeremiah Saleh. You all know Mr. Jeremiah Saleh. He's one of the residents of this community. He's on campus, but I think this weekend he's in town. He candidate of PhD. And I want to say thanks to all of those who follow us here tonight. Specifically, I want to say thanks to Mr. Rufus Tati. Like we were saying here just now, Mr. Rufus Tati has grown all the time. I remember the first time during the election, we had a little mini debate between he and the other candidate. And they both spoke, and comparing from that time to today, he is politically charged. He's well balanced to answer a lot of questions. And let's just go and pay some respect to some of our followers here. Some of those questions, comment, or whatever have been coming in. We ain't going to read everything here, but we're just going to just let's see this first person here. Who is this? Mr. Brown. Leadership comes with responsibility. It is important to follow the rules and regulations that governs every organization. We need to practice that more in our Liberian community. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. And who's this person here? The other person said, Mr. President, you have my support. That's Mr. Joseph Slade Jr. You have my support. Let me drink my wine. Okay, so who do we have next here? The next person we have here is the Honorable Rich W. Basigia. He said the president seems to transition over the years and has grown to believe more in himself. Great show, guys. Leadership need to utilize chances given them and not to impress their assembly. Thank you, Mr. Rich W. Basigia. Another comment here comes from this person, Mr. Joseph Slay again. The first lady is strong. We move. It's not a crime to listen to your wife. A lot of people are doing the same. Let me drink my wine. That's Mr. Joseph Soleil again. So we have tons of comments here. I don't know if we're going to read everything. So let's go right here. We already read this one. Who again we have here? We have our sister Fatima Family. She said, let them talk. The first lady Ruth Tati is so strong. Oh, that's one for the first lady Ruth Tati. Who here? Mr. Brown, she said, great question. Okay, so let's see another one again. Which one is this? There's no $10 color anymore. $20 and up. Whoa. Pepper color didn't go to 20 bucks in Liberian now, so it's not an easy one here. Who is person? The incoming representative, Honorable Rich W. Basigia. Who again here? Mr. Rich W. Basigia say, Big Philip say you got looking. Do your thing, brother. Thank you so much, Mr. Rich W. Basigia. Who here again? Mr. Brown. He's gentle in answering questions. That's good. That's the president. That's why we pray for that. Now he representing us so well. So Mambla Keita, he said, we as Liberians need to respect and embrace the tenets of democracy. We live in this great developed society. We fail to adopt the good values. What is our problem? Why is unity a major problem in most of our communities in the diaspora? Thanks to the hosts for creating this platform. Thank you too, sir. Thank you so much for following us. Thank you for always logging onto the Logan's Hour to at least support or choose second away. Let's see who this person here. This person, Emmanuel Moses Nawason Toba Jr. He said, I'm following from Banga City, Bon County, a Liberian journalist as well. Thank you so much, my dear brother, a Liberian journalist following from Bon County. I want to say thanks for following us. And don't stop. Always come on here and let's discuss the issue. We have our sister Fatima Famula. She's the youth chair. She said, Mr. President Rufus Tati, LAR. Okay, thank you. And who here again? Emmanuel Mose. Talk about Jay and say I'm a Liberian journalist following from Bon County. Thank you so much for following us. We hear Samar Hamul Logan. She said there's need to be better standard and to set in the chat room in regards to them defaming other characters. Thank you so much, Mrs. Logan, for that. Then we have somebody here, Mr. Anthony Gavler. He said, I see this as a hot talking point in the community. I'm watching from my headquarters of tuning oil. Thank you so much, Anthony Gavler. My dear brother and friend, Albert Prince Bulu, he following us from Florida. How about you in Florida or somewhere? Watching Dr. Sele, you look good. Thank you so much, Albert. Who's this person here? Fatima Famula. She said the president's skin thicker than elephant skin. Fatima, I like that. So nothing can move the president. It may have a very thick skin. Mr. Logan, thanks for hosting this great show. Thank you so much, sir. Hello? All right. So let's see who's this person here. Oh, we got welcome my sister Fasia Hilton. Thank you for coming on here tonight. She said great interview and feedback, gentlemen. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Sis Fasia Hilton. Thanks for showing up the other day and accepting to serve as the officiating officer at the program hour and minute at a time. Thank you. My brother Albert Bus Saleh, thank you. Sister Fatima again, our work didn't go in vain. Mr. President, Mr. Tati, presidency of LAR was a must. Thank you so much, Fatima family. And my own dear brother and friend, UJ Dosua. Great job, guys. Thank you, UJ. Thanks to everyone who followed us here tonight. Then I see another person here, the crime ambassador of the Indiana. He's also here, Mr. Zion Glad Cheyi. He said, hello, my brother, watching from question mark. Where are you, Mr. Cheyi? So thanks to everyone who followed us out there tonight. It was a very nice one talking to the president. We look forward to hosting more of these kind of conversations. We are in conversation with some of our editors, at least to speak to the community. We also want to have another program called Speak to the Children. We organize some little children here to at least give their little perspective on the community they have lived in for some time. So we have 2 or 3 other little children up here just to have conversation. Let's hear from all sectors. Let's hear from all sides of the community. So I want to say thanks to everyone who joined us here tonight. Tonight shouldn't just be your own night. Always join the Logan's Hour. If you have information, anything that could make us better, anything we say here that hurts somebody's feelings, you can also write your comment or comment on our page. We will also respond to you. We are not big and proud to say we are sorry for whatever thing we will do on this program. We are trying to be better. We are not yet better. We haven't reached any of the mark that we want to achieve. We look up to you for us all to achieve it together. Liberian is all we have. Good night and peace. Salam.